I'm gonna love you like no one's loved you, come rain or come shine. High as a mountain, deep as a river, come rain or come shine.
In Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy, Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro tried to look inside the mind of the troubled loner. In this video, I would like to explore the events that inspired these two films, what themes they have in common, and some of the film's ideas that audiences have overlooked. Screenwriter and director Paul Schrader wrote the script of Taxi Driver in the early 70s during a turbulent personal time in his life. When writing the screenplay, Schrader was inspired by the writing of Dostoevsky, the war in Vietnam, and the assassination attempt on George Wallace to create the character of Travis Bickle. Artistically, you could say that Bickle is an embodiment of post-1960s America. A lost soul exposed to the violence of Vietnam, cheap sex, drugs, and hollow politicians. The filmmakers of Taxi Driver had nothing but good intentions when they set out to make the film. They hoped that if troubled people saw a character like Travis, they would recognize their own problems and get help. Unfortunately, some individuals who saw Travis weren't repulsed by him, they wanted to be him.
Okay, go past him and stop. Wait, okay, Jerry, get over. Get in there. I'm not fooling.
What the hell are you talking? What are you doing? Are you crazy?
Get in, Jerry. Get in.
Hi, Jerry.
The original script for The King of Comedy was written in the late 1960s, but wasn't made into a film until 1983. So after all those years, why would Martin Scorsese suddenly be interested in telling the story? Well, my best guess would have to be the string of tragic events that occurred in the early 80s. First was the murder of John Lennon, and the second being the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan by John Hinckley, a man obsessed with Taxi Driver and its star Jodie Foster.
Wonderful, you're wonderful. I tell you, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Rupert,
Anyway.
the bus is here. It's early. Try to be on time for once.
Watching The King of Comedy with these events in mind, it almost feels like the filmmakers were trying to destroy the hero they accidentally created in Travis Bickle by showing the pitiful Rupert Pupkin, a celebrity stalker who is unaware of his violent capabilities.
But you don't get to see anyone from the show until I get to see Langford.
I'd like to see someone from the show first.
Well, I'm telling you, you won't see someone unless you tell us where Langford is.
Well, then Jerry Langford is dead.
Get Thomas.
Apparently, the dark subtext of Rupert Pupkin took so much emotion out of De Niro and Scorsese that they did not work together again until Goodfellas 7 years later. Unfortunately for De Niro and Scorsese, their hard work did not get rewarded at the box office. The film was one of the biggest bombs of 1983, and for the rest of the decade, Scorsese was forced to rebuild his career almost from the ground up. Both Travis Bickle and Rupert Pupkin have the same obsession in life: the desire to impress women who want nothing to do with them. To Travis, Betsy is not an individual person. To him, she is an embodiment of everything that he isn't. Confident, attractive, career-minded, and he feels that if he can have her, that he can be all those things. But his self-loathing causes him to ruin any chance of a future with Betsy when he takes her to the porno theater.
I don't know why I came in here. I don't like these movies.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that you'd feel that way about this movie. I don't know much about movies, but if I had
Is the only kind of movies you go to?
Well, yeah, I mean, I come and this is not so bad. This
Taking me
film,
to a place like this is about as exciting to me as saying, let's fuck.
To Rupert Pupkin, Rita isn't an individual either. To him, she embodies his future of being a comedy star. At first, she is annoyed by Rupert's advances, but is willing to be flattered by him and be taken out to dinner.
Come on, what do you say?
It sounds wonderful, Rupert. I wish you the best of luck, but it's getting late and I'm a working girl. I gotta go home.
I don't get you. Here I am offering you a way out. Rita, every king needs a queen. I want you to be mine.
Coincidentally, the actress who plays Rita was the same actress who played the annoyed porno theater clerk in Taxi Driver.
You can tell me what your name is. I'm not gonna do anything,
Do you want me to call a manager?
Oh, you don't have to call the manager. I mean, I'm just asking.
Troy!
All right, okay.
Both Travis and Rupert's constant rejection ends up making them very dangerous individuals who will do anything to be noticed. After Betsy rejects Travis, he is determined to destroy the man he thinks she loves, Senator Palantine, but fails to do so. And Rupert goes to the lengths of kidnapping Jerry and performing his monologue on his show to impress Rita. What is disturbing is that in both films, Travis and Rupert are successful in impressing the women that they are obsessed with after doing their terrible acts. But were these scenes of affection real, or just fantasies inside the heads of Travis and Rupert?
Just not enjoying it anymore.
That's the worst.
Listen, I really wish you would think about it again, okay?
He's starting again. He's starting up again.
Hey, it's not that big a deal to think. I'm asking you to just think.
I'm thinking. You're always telling me to think. That's all I do is think day and night about it. How can I not think about it? I mean, I've been sitting here at lunch with you, which I knew is the reason you invited me in the first place, and all I'm sitting here and eating for is to get guilty with you, right?
I'm asking you to take over the show for 6 weeks. I mean, what's 6 weeks?
I'll give you anything, but don't ask me to do 6 weeks. I can't take over the show for 6 weeks. I can't even take over my own life for 6 weeks. And you're asking me to do something that's impossible. It's impossible. Don't you understand? What?
What are you doing down there so late?
It's impossible. I'm trying to tell you that. What do you want? You want the tears to come out of my eyes?
There's gotta be a way you can work it out.
Periodically, the King of Comedy cuts to scenes of Rupert's imagination, where he's friends with Jerry, marries Rita, and the ending montage where Rupert becomes a celebrity is likely imagined too. Now, what I would like to investigate here is whether or not Travis has the same type of fantasies that Rupert has. Let's start with what we know about Travis Bickle. He is a 26-year-old Vietnam veteran who suffers from insomnia. He abuses amphetamines and alcohol, which can lead to migraines and psychosis. And we also see that Travis has a bad habit of having his mind wander when he's around people.
I never use mine. I'm conservative, But it's a good thing to have just as a threat.
These facts make it very likely that Travis suffers periodic hallucinations, and the scene that should make us question what is reality or fantasy in the film is this scene.
Listen, you fuckers, you screwheads. Here is a man who would not take it anymore, who would not let Listen, you fuckers, you screwheads. Here is a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the cunts, the dogs, the filth, the shit. Here is someone who stood up. Here is...
I think many viewers have missed the significance of this edit in the middle of Travis's monologue. It shows that Travis's mind is now manipulating the images that we see, and it is at this point that we should question what is real or imagined in the rest of the film. One directing decision that makes me think that Travis was making up his violent encounters in his head is the fact that we never see him enter or leave his apartment in the entire film. Whenever a violent scene occurs, we immediately cut back to Travis alone at his home.
Go ahead. Mamá, te voy a joder todo, maricón. Mi fifth motherfucker this year. Voy a baratar todo, mamá. Voy a baratar, mamá. Maricón.
I never saw him. I saw him run. I saw him. Where was he?
And here's another important piece of information that I found in the DVD documentary.
We took over a condemned building in New York on 89th Street and Columbus Avenue, and we built Travis's apartment in that building, and we built Iris's apartment, and we used the hallway.
Now, making the movie in one building could have been a simple production necessity to save money, but Scorsese never once showed a different exterior or address to Travis's building. These facts make me doubt even more that the scenes between Travis and Iris actually happened. So what are we seeing in the second half of the film if it didn't really happen?
I love him.
Well, after Travis was rejected by Betsy, I think his last bit of sanity was lost, and this plunges him into a dark revenge fantasy created out of moments from the first half of the film. This includes a female that he wants to protect from the filth of the city, being jealous of another man, and going out to eat with them.
That fellow you work with, I don't like him. Not that I don't like him, I just think he's silly. I don't think he respects you.
He is the lowest kind of person in the world. Somebody's got to do something to him. He's the scum of the earth. He's the worst sucking scum I have ever seen.
And my explanation for the ending shootout is that in the last scene at Travis's apartment before he leaves, he is shown downing a bottle of Benzedrine with beer. This makes me think that the concluding massacre and cab ride with Betsy was a hallucination caused by his amphetamines and insomnia. This might be the most controversial take I've ever had on a movie that I love. But I believe that it is true because Scorsese has said that when making Taxi Driver, he wanted the film to have a feel of someone constantly stuck between sleep and awake. Disagree if you want, but just make sure you pay attention to the films you watch, because you never know what tricks the filmmakers might be trying to play on you. Thanks for watching.